Okay, everybody, it's that time of year again when you look at your trees to see how much fruit you're going to get. And this is my dry farmed avocado grove because the deer destroyed the drip system. I keep promising to get out here and fix that. So I'm going to get on it. It's been like 4 years since I watered these trees. Anyway, this is my little avocado tree, world famous. He's been on the web a bunch of times. People have seen this tree all over. And so it's May 17th right now, right after Mother's Day. This is the time of year, March they start to flower, April they flower, but it's not really until May that you really get to see your fruit set, and even into June. And so here's, the fruit set. You can see all kinds of little avocados. I think we're gonna get a huge fruit set this year. Absolutely enormous. I saw a pretty big one over here that must have been kind of an early one. See that right there? There's a nice bigger one for the time of year. Oh, I just made it fall off the tree. Oh well, it used to be a big one, but there's plenty more. No problem. Don't worry. I'm not gonna go hungry this year. But it's also the time of year. Oh, there's some right there. There's some big ones. See that right up there? See those? This tree's gonna be absolutely loaded this year, I can tell. I didn't put any honey, water, or anything. I didn't do anything. Didn't water, didn't fertilize. Not just a bunch of mulch. I didn't even rake it out. It's still clumped up. Just dumped it there and left. There's a bunch of big ones up top. But it's also the time of year where last year's crop would just now be getting, look at all this red, beautiful foliage. There's nothing like the red new growth on these things. It's so pretty. But this is also the time of year where last year's crop would be starting to ripen, okay? And I've had really long hold periods on this tree, but I've always exhausted the tree of its fruit long before any dropped. Until this year, I had so many fruit set, 2 years ago, this thing fed me all year long. And I haven't really seen anybody talk much about this anywhere where there's trees that can hold fruit for an entire year. But that's what happened here. We had huge fruit set 2 years ago, spring. And then it took a whole year to mature until last May. And I started eating them. And guess what? Well, let me show you. Like I said, I had a huge crop. What's amazing though is I had zero fruit set last year. But at the time I had zero fruit set, I had a ton of fruit that had matured, from the year before. So then I ate and I ate and I ate and I ate. Then I decided to leave a few on the tree, see how long they could last on the tree. And oh look, it's way up there. We're gonna go get this fruit. As of a few weeks ago, there were a fair number of fruit on this tree, and now they're gone. I don't know where they went, but there's one hiding up here that's 2 years old. Where is it? It's right up there somewhere. I just saw it. Come on, where'd you go? Really? This is hard enough. Oh, there it is. It's way up there. See it? It's right there. All right, I'm gonna pull it out. For you. It's not very big. There it is. All right. I'm gonna cut this and go to the ground. Okay, once I got down to the ground, I looked up on the other side of the tree. I noticed, lo and behold, look at all that, right? So I missed those ones earlier. And then over here, it's hard enough to climb a tree. It's a whole extra level of danger to climb the tree with one hand while you're trying to film and show people what's up. Look at this. Yeah, I thought there were none. I thought I ate them all. Oh, there's some over here. Look at that. See the birds getting on that one. But yeah, look at this cluster right here. Jeez, can you see that? Oh, it's hard. I'm gonna clear this out with my two hands and then show you one later. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I'm still alive. I know you were worried. Check this out, though. I did a little pruning. Look at this. Oh, those avocados, my friends, are 2 years from setting fruit. Right now it's May 17th of 2022. These set fruit on this tree in May of 2020. Yeah, right, 2020. So just in this one cluster, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, at least a 12 pack. So, but the point is that I'm doing this experiment to see how long this fruit will hang on this tree. I probably have another 20 left. I probably got 500 fruit on this tree this year. It's crazy. I ate a lot of avocados. In fact, I could probably blame this tree on being a few pounds overweight. But that's good fat, right? That's what I tell everybody. When they look at it, they're like, oh, look at what the way. I'm like, no. That's good fat. And then they say, oh, okay. Yeah, so as long as it's good fat, you're okay. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on with this tree. Here's one more little guy hanging here. Again, this is from a whole 2 years ago. This tree did not set any fruit last year. And as the fruit sits on the tree, it gets richer and richer and richer. And so it's like extreme, like dense chocolate cake almost at this point in the amount of richness when compared to the, when you first pick them, like after only 1 year being on the tree. So let's go down and talk about this a little bit because I'm getting tired of just kind of hanging out in the tree. I'll pick a couple. I think I'm going to keep that cluster. I'm going to pick the ones that are over there. And then I'll leave. Since I know now there were 12 here, I'm just going to let those sit there. We'll just see what happens to them. See how long they hang in the tree. They've been sitting there for 2 years. Show me another fruit tree that could feed you such wonderful nutrients and sit on the tree all year as a food source. I mean, all you got to do is plant these trees everywhere. No one will starve. That's the deal. So, moccasins are not the best attire to be wearing while climbing trees, I found. But anyway, it worked. I got up there. I couldn't find my flip-flops. Of course, that would have been worse. Here's our subject avocados that we're going to now eat in about 10 days when they ripen. They take a full 10 to 12 days, sometimes 14 days to ripen when, well, they're ripe right now, but to soften to eat them. They take that long because the ones you get in the store have already been off the tree for quite a while. So that's why sometimes they're soft already. So you got to be a little bit more patient when you have your own trees. You have to pick it, intervals of like every week you got to pick some. Otherwise you find yourself with lots of avocados on the counter, yet none to eat. How's that go? Water everywhere, but yet not a drop to drink. Avocados everywhere, yet not a bite to be had. So again, to recap, we're getting a massive fruit set for next year. It's going to be huge. It's going to be great again. The avocado is going to be great again. But we had none in the interval. But that didn't really matter because I had so many from the year before and they hung on the tree so long that it looks like I'm getting this overlap. So, but there will be a drought actually because the ones from 2 years ago, they're going to be, I got to imagine they're not going to be here this time next year, right? So, and then these here won't be ready till this time next year, which means maybe I'll lose some weight. This is a dwarf tree, obviously, but it's been here so long that you see it's got that really dense habit. It's part of its dwarfness. It's been here so long, it's actually pretty big. It's probably 15 by good 18 feet wide by 15 feet high. And you can see it just drapes. Once it gets up, it just kind of drapes down. And what else can I say? People ask me, well, Gary, I want to know when these trees are going to fruit when I buy them from you. And I tell them, I say, well, they can fruit right away because they're sexually mature trees. We take trees that, if you sprout a seed, it's going to take a decade or so for that tree to reach maturity. The tree thinks it's at the bottom of a rainforest. It needs to sprout and shoot high to get to the light. And once it gets to the light, then and only then will it think that it can slow the gas pedal down on growth because it doesn't need to compete with everything else around it anymore. And then and only then does it start to think about reproducing. So now what we're doing though is we're taking these seedlings that are trying to jet to the moon, and once they get to the top, once they produce, they kind of grow laterally. They don't shoot as much. Whereas the seedlings, all they do is shoot straight up aggressively. So when you take a seedling and you graft on a mature flowering wood tree, you basically are kind of creating a dwarf, because you're immediately telling the tree that, you know, you can flower down low instead of having to reach to the stars. So that's what this is doing here. So I tell people it's able to fruit right away. At the very moment we grafted, it can flower and fruit. It's not good for the tree to fruit when it's that little. Is it good for 9-year-old girls to have babies? No. Same thing with avocado trees. You want them to concentrate on growing and getting stronger before they can put up with the stress of having children, as a comparison there. But I say they can fruit right away. They're able to. Is it good? I wouldn't let too many fruit at once when they're young until they get bigger. But then they say, well, I want to guarantee that I'm going to get avocados, Gary. And I say, well, there's no such thing as a guarantee. But there is one guarantee I can give you, and this is how I'll leave it. What I tell people is that I can absolutely, unequivocally, 100% guarantee that you will not get any avocados if you don't plant a tree. Definitely can guarantee that. Now, there is an asterisk to that, in that maybe your neighbor might plant a tree close enough to the fence where you can climb in the middle of the night and steal his avocados, or hers, or whoever's. But your own avocados, the only guarantee I can give you is that the only chance you have of getting some is planting a tree. Because some years a tree this big will make 0. Other years it'll make way more than you can eat. And that's just the way it is. So the trick is to get multiple trees, get your neighbors to get trees. They'll cross-pollinate. You'll have multiple opportunities for heavy fruiting in any given year. And because you never know what year is going to be a light year and what year is going to be a heavy year, and which tree will have a light year, which one will have a heavy year. And when they do, hopefully you have opposites that are having heavy one year and the opposite tree is having a light year. So you have a constant crop, so you can stay nice and plump and round like me, and be ready for the next famine when it comes. And that's pretty much the deal.